Nothing is out of the realms of possibility. And a massive blowout in the Oval Office is apparently, everything's up for grabs.
Yep.
Okay? Now, before you guys assume anything about my views on this, let me just point you guys to the last couple of videos we did addressing Trump. And fair to say that we were fairly critical of Trump recently. We have been. Last couple of videos.
Yep.
Specifically about what? What was the last thing we talked about, Zach?
I have no clue.
The Gaza City.
Oh,
with the massive idols
that was really
that he
bad.
reposted.
That
right?
was really bad.
So before you guys go, you don't care about, right?
You're just a lib that wants to see war.
No. You're just a right-wing conservative commentator.
Yeah.
Like, go watch the last several videos, and you'll see that I'm not. I'll call it the way I see it, right? Yep. And I think that this is a crazy moment in the Oval Office that is not without consequences. And so we're just going to analyze it and look at objectively what happened here and who was in the right and who was in the wrong.
The United States of America, and for the good of the world. I'm aligned with the world, and I want to get this thing over with. You see the hatred he's got for Putin. It's very tough for me to make a deal with that kind of hate. He's got tremendous hatred.
What happened was he was there to sign the deal. The deal offered the United States access to some of their natural resources and their minerals.
Yep.
The deal did not guarantee protections in case Russia would do this again. As he's there, he refuses to sign the deal. So Trump then decides to have this moment in public.
Oh, because he was like, no, I want to sign a deal with it guaranteeing that there's going to be protection.
He changed his mind on the way to Washington. Zelensky did.
Okay.
Right? So because he changed his mind, I think that's how this becomes a public conversation. And potentially, I'm not saying this part is right, but potentially Trump wanting to make him pay.
Yeah.
You were supposed to come here and sign a deal. We almost had a deal. We want some access to your resources. Why? Why do they want access to Ukraine's resources, Zach?
They want access to Ukraine's resources. I have no clue, actually.
Because we've sent $350 billion there.
Oh, yeah, we pretty much own the country.
It's not about owning the country.
we bought it like
$350 billion. Can I recoup, my guy?
That's fair.
We just playing with monopoly money now?
Yeah, hello.
A U.S. taxpayers? We just sending money to Ukraine and there's nothing in it for us? Like, what are we doing?
Yep.
So he wants some of these natural resources.
Yeah.
Right? I don't think he's going to own the country. That's about hyperbolic. Go ahead and play it.
I understand that, but I can tell you the other side isn't exactly in love with, him either. So it's not a question of alignment. I'm aligned with the world. I want to get the thing set. I'm aligned with Europe. I want to see if we can get this thing done. You want me to be tough? I could be tougher than any human being you've ever seen. I'd be so tough. But you're never going to get a deal, though.
So I understand we did not send $350 billion in a briefcase to Ukraine, guys. I get that it was weapons. But we sent $350 billion in U.S. weapons over there.
Yeah, we paid for those. We paid for it.
Right?
Yeah.
We paid for that. So it's not monopoly money. So folks are like, well, technically, the U.S. did not send $350 billion. That's an overstatement.
That's like being like, my parents didn't give me $100,000. They gave me a house. It's like, yeah, man. It's kind of the same thing.
Yeah. Regardless on if they were old weapons, new weapons, we have added a ton of investment and resource to Ukraine.
Yeah.
Okay? And now they're trying to clean this thing up, as we should be wanting this thing to be cleaned up. We should be wanting Gaza to be cleaned up. We should be wanting these things to cleaned up. Go ahead.
That's the way it goes. All right, one more question.
I will respond to this. So look, for 4 years in the United States of America, we had a president who stood up at press conferences and talked tough about Vladimir Putin, and then Putin invaded Ukraine and destroyed a significant chunk of the country. The path to peace and the path to prosperity is maybe engaging in diplomacy. We tried the pathway of Joe Biden of thumping our chest and pretending that the president of the United States' words mattered more than the president of the United States' actions. What makes America a good country is America engaging in diplomacy. That's what President Trump is doing.
Vance getting some playtime.
Well, there was a meme that showed Vance and his posture versus when Pence was in there and Trump was having a conflict with Nancy Pelosi, and they were talking about how different those two are. And someone was like, Vance is a pit bull, you know what I mean? Because he's like leaning in, and like Pence is like back here with his arms crossed.
That's funny. He's getting some screen time.
Yeah. I find it so interesting how much of this fell splat down party lines, like right down the middle.
It really did, huh?
Like I watched Sagar, who leans right on Breaking Points. He was the first one that did it. This is a disrespectful. How could Zelensky come in here with this sort of energy? Blah, 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 blah. You watch any liberal and it's like, oh my gosh, Zelensky's a hero. He stands up to Trump. Trump's an idiot. Like I've never seen anything more down party lines than this moment right here.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Can I ask you?
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So he occupied our parts, big parts of Ukraine, part of East and Crimea. So he occupied it on 2014. So during a lot of years, so I'm not speaking about just Biden, but those time was Obama, then President Trump, then President Biden, now the President Trump, and God bless, now President Trump will stop him. But during 2014, nobody stopped him. He just occupied and took. He killed people. You know what the contact
2015.
2014.
2014 and 2014.
2014.
Yeah. So
I was not here.
Yeah, but
That's exactly right.
Yes, but
I was not here.
during 2014 till 2022, yeah, the situation the same. The people have been dying on the contact line. Nobody stopped him. You know that we had conversations with him, a lot of conversations, my bilateral conversation, and we signed with him. Me, like a new president, in 2019, I signed with him the deal. I signed with him, Macron and Merkel. We signed ceasefire. All of them told me that he will never go. We signed him with gas contract. Yes, but after that, he broken the ceasefire. He killed our people, and he did.
So he's right. Zelensky's right here. The issue is,
What he says next.
how is that relevant to getting the deal done now?
Yeah.
Trump's book was The Art of the Deal.
Yep.
He's trying to get this thing cleaned up. So all of the history is right. And as you saw, which by the way, I'm not a Putin guy. As someone who grew up in the Soviet Union, as someone whose family members still go back, I am not a Putin guy. Like I think that he's not a good guy.
Yeah.
Okay. But he could sit here and recite history to Tucker Carlson about the Ukrainian nation and give us this. We're trying to clean this up, dude.
Yeah.
We're trying to clean this up. That's why you're here.
Hello.
And we're talking the last thing that was not done by Obama. What are we talking about? The Occupy Till I Come 60-day devotional is back in stock. This is taking you through the entire narrative of the scriptures in 60 days with custom daily devotional prompts. So what you're doing is you're spending 35 days in the Old Testament, 25 days in the New Testament, going over all the major stories. There's additional reading for you to go deeper if you want to go deeper on the stories. And you can get them right now bundled up with a virtual ticket to our Bless God Summit. Bless God Summit is coming up March 27th, 28th, 29th in beautiful Southern California. My favorite podcasters, apologists, pastors, preachers, entrepreneurs, all in the same room. Day 1, we're talking about apologetics. Day 2, we're talking about virtue. Day 3, we're going out into the marketplace and being the hands and feet of Jesus. This is going to be a wonderful event. And what you could do is you could actually get the devotional bundled with the virtual ticket for only $65. So go to blessgodshop.com, get yourself a 60-day devotional. I promise you the feedback on these has been crazy. You will love it. Designed by my guy, Josh NATO from Sword and Pencil. The beautiful artwork, okay? So go to blessgod.shop, get yours now, okay? Mean the world to me.
exchange prisoners. We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it. What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come to the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the president for trying to bring an end to this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Come once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people into your military? And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future.
No, he's out of pocket for that. He's out of pocket for that. You don't walk into the Oval Office. I don't care who's in office. I don't care if you like Trump, if you don't like Trump. You don't walk into the Oval Office.
Biden, Obama.
Yeah,
whoever.
and say you don't feel it now, but you have a nice ocean. You'll feel it.
Yeah, you'll feel it later. You're out of pocket.
You were wild.
Yeah.
Now, to be fair, Vance is talking about disrespecting in the Oval Office. Yes, this is disrespectful. There's no other way you could sparse it. This is wild. For a world leader to walk in here and to hash this out in front of the world stage is wild.
Yeah.
Especially if this doesn't get signed, like it's not out of the bounds of the escalation to a potential World War III scenario.
Yeah.
I understand that you can't trust Putin. That's fine. But you don't have an alternative here.
Yeah.
There's no other play here.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's also comparing his deal that he made with Putin to a deal that the US would facilitate between the Ukraine and Putin, which is like comparing a deal you made with your younger brother versus a deal you made with your brother with your parents there. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
well, maybe I don't know that deal. To be fair, that 2014 deal, maybe America was involved. I don't know. So maybe they were involved, and maybe Putin just said, "The heck with it. I'm gonna do what I want to do." That's also possible. But I think this is disrespectful. Now, Dr. Grande had an interesting take. You know, I like Dr. Grande. He had an interesting take, and he said, "Hey, we can't talk about like disrespect in the Oval Office, and you have Elon Musk sending, SpaceX employees to federal workers and like pressing them, And I understand there's a ton of waste, but if we're going to talk about respect, everyone should be respected. But the Oval Office, in my opinion, should definitely be respected for you to pull up and like make this statement about the ocean. And this is what really gets...
Wait, what was your point about Elon?
So Dr. Grande, in his video, said, hey, if we're talking about respect, respect should be something that everyone gets extended and is earned by everyone.
Yep.
So you can't from one side say, hey, it's cool for Elon to go out and send guys in their early 20s to pound down the doors of all federal workers and cut funds from all these organizations. And we know people that have personally had funds cut, and assume that's not being disrespectful in the way how some of these people are saying they're being treated. And then be not okay with disrespect on this side. Like there has to be a degree of decorum when dealing with the federal government. That was Dr. Grande's take.
Interesting.
Zelensky is still wrong.
Yeah.
Like he's still wrong, and Vance is right to pull his card, and anyone could pull this up. There is documented videos of them kidnapping people in Ukraine because they can't maintain their military.
Kidnapping people for their military?
Yes. Like, you could pull this up.
And they're like, you're drafted, essentially?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because the average soldier is like 40 years old. So that's what he's talking about. It's like, you guys have issues with your own men.
Hello.
And he's like, oh, we all have issues, but you have this ocean.
God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless.
You don't
God
know
bless.
that.
You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because
I'm
you're in no
answering on this
position to
question.
dictate that.
That's
Remember
exactly
this.
what
I'm not
You're
dictating.
in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very
you will
good.
Feel influenced.
We're going to feel very
I'm
good and very
telling
strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed
From the
yourself.
The problem is that Trump is like, if we were to feel something, we have the power to change that. We have the power to respond to things that we feel. You guys are feeling a lot of things. You don't have the power to do anything without us. Yet you're calling out us for our decisions.
to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about
From the
it.
very beginning of the war.
You're not
Mr.
in a good
Brown,
position.
I
You don't
was
have the cards right now. With us, you start having
not playing
cards.
cards.
Right now, you
I'm
don't.
very
You're playing
serious,
cards.
Mr. President.
You're
I'm
playing
very
cards.
serious.
You're
I'm
gambling
the
with the
president
lives
in
of
war.
millions of people.
You think-
You're gambling with World War
do you-
III.
what do you think
You're
about-
gambling.
He's right.
Yeah.
So this is the part that's frustrating. You could fly your Ukraine flag all you want.
Hello.
Trump is right. And again, before you say, but Ruslan, you're just saying because you're blah, blah, blah. Go look at my last couple of videos about Trump. I have been more than critical about Trump on a plethora of issues, pre-election, post-election, as of last week. So miss me with the, you're just a conservative. I'm not. I could be critical of him. He's right. This is not a good look for Zelensky. This is not a good look for the people that are riding his coattails as some sort of hero. He does not have the cards.
Yeah.
You are not in a position to negotiate.
Part of the deal.
Take the deal you can get.
Yeah.
The deal right now is we want some of your resources in exchange for sending over hundreds of billions of dollars in aid. We want some of that, and we want to be able to exploit that.
Yep.
And we want to wrap this thing up. We want to clean this thing up so that World War III doesn't break out. Now, he went and connected with a bunch of political oppositions of Trump, I believe,
right after?
On the same trip.
Oh,
He then went to Europe and apparently got $1.5 billion in aid. Great, $1.5 billion. Took on $300 billion.
yeah.
$300 billion in weapons, $350 billion.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So does Zelensky really want to do this thing without America? Does he want to walk through this without America? I don't think so. I don't think you want to play chicken like this. I think you want to play the cards you have and figure it out. And
So I'll tell you what, we're not going to World War III for Ukraine.
I don't think that's happening, man.
We're going. All right, that's what you guys want. We're gonna sit back and
Yeah, I don't think that's
watch
happening.
Russia expand a little bit.
They want entrance into NATO.
Yeah.
America, I believe, funds the majority of NATO. If Ukraine goes into NATO and Putin attacks, that's now attack on everybody. That's World War III.
Is that why Trump wants to pull out of NATO? Because he's like, I don't want to be responsible for all these other people's problems.
I think that's why they're apprehensive on letting Ukraine in. And now there's rumors that tomorrow he's going to withdraw from NATO. And if that happens, well then, but we could look at it here in a sec.
NATO, all these other countries are kind of protected by the U.S. being part of NATO.
That's the theory because we have the biggest military and we make the biggest
Russia's
investment.
like, well, we're friendly with, we can get along with the U.S. as a world power, so let's not attack this random country because they're part of NATO.
Yeah. 4 reasons why the U.S. could leave NATO. Now, I haven't fact-checked any of this. This just seems to be publicly available information. Okay? So this is what this is saying. Trump has warned that the U.S. might pull out of NATO if the blocs of other members don't pay their dues. How could this move benefit the U.S.? So this is like so saving money. U.S. defense spending $916 billion made up over 2/3 of NATO's total in 2023. Rand estimates the U.S. shoulders 47% of NATO's burden. Okay, so that's a lot of money, and that's a little AI Trump piggy bank. Okay, mending ties with Russia, the unchecked eastward expansion of NATO. Now, I don't think we should be having ties with Russia. That makes me extremely uncomfortable as someone that was raised up in the Soviet Union. I don't think we want this kumbaya situation where I don't think Russia's our ally. Okay, but if you then alleviate
keep your enemies
strains,
closer.
keep your enemies closer between U.S. and Russia because NATO is not involved, that could potentially de-escalate conflicts. All right. Reorienting to other alliances freed from supporting European states, the U.S. could pursue bilateral partnership and defense pacts with countries on more favorable terms, strengthening relationships elsewhere. Pivot to Asia. The U.S. could relocate military resources to Asia, focusing on China, its greatest adversary. Reducing NATO commitment would boost this effort and increase focus on the Pacific, escalating the risky U.S.-China competition. So that could be a possibility. I don't know if that is a possibility. I think that would, gosh darn it, how much world history is happening between our past couple months.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If we were to bounce from NATO, that sounds crazy.
Hello.
That sounds crazy. I hope that doesn't happen. I hope Zelensky has a change of heart, and I hope that big announcement that Trump is talking about, they're going to clean this up and they're going to make the deal. Yeah. And we're going to end the war in Ukraine, and then Gaza is going to end because, by the way, Israel has now reneged on their ceasefire allegedly, or Hamas or whoever. I don't know. The daggone hostages weren't all released or could have been. I don't know what's going on over there. But that's now hit the fan, and Israel is blocking aid into Gaza. Hello. There's a lot of stuff. Now, again, Trump claimed that he was going to clean all this up. First 100 days of the administration. You know, hopefully he's still able to figure it out.
He's got time.
I
gotta say, the overseas stuff, I'm all for the stuff that's happening in the U.S. Doge, all of it, awesome. The overseas stuff, that's when it starts to get a little, I don't really know anything about this, so hopefully this goes well.
Hey, thank you so much for checking out the video. Please be sure to comment below and subscribe and all that good stuff. And check out this other video that YouTube seems to be recommending just for you. Let me know if they nailed it. All right, I'll see you over there. Peace.